Greetings, ladies and gents, and welcome to this latest version of Tales from Outer Space, where I take an HFY story from somewhere around the internet and read it aloud for your enjoyment. All the relevant links are down below. Like, subscribe, and all that YouTube comf to help this video and channel grow. Anyways, as always, I hope that you enjoy. I would just like to thank the following Tier 5 patrons and channel members for supporting the channel: BuzzKillington, Datamagnet, and Bob the Dragon. Thank you again. And now, on to the story. Story number 1. History book, written by LG Father Anthracite. Jenny was going through the bins at the used bookstore when she ran across the book. It was bound in leather with a hand-sewn binding. The leather was covered and stained by many years' worth of hands holding the covers. She opened it. She saw that it was handwritten in a tidy script. It appeared to be a diary from about a century ago. She placed it in the stack of books that she was considering and dove back into the boxes. After several more interesting finds, she started passing down the pile. Finally, she had 4 books that she was going to buy. She brought them to the counter, and the cashier rang her up and put the books in a bag. Jenny thanked her with a smile and headed out. Jenny sat at the porch, surrounded by woods on all sides, miles away from the noise and traffic of the city. This weekend rental was a perfect escape. She pulled the blanket up around her waist and cracked open the leather book, and she began to read. After a few pages, the entries started to get strange. December 10, 2119. I finished my tests, and as long as I passed all my tests, I should graduate next week. I can't wait to go to state and start my college life. I'm glad I decided to graduate early so I can spend the next semester working on my prerequisite classes out of the way of the local community college. June 18th, 2120. Classes start today. Speech, calculus, chemistry, and art history. Registering was a pain in the butt. There was a line at the registrar's office at the door, but it got done. Classes were awesome. I met few people who graduated from my school. We're gonna hang out this weekend. January 24th, 2120. Katie and Becca was so cool. They took me out to a party at a friend's house, and afterwards we went to an all-night diner to get some food. It's the first time I've gone out with the college friends. January 31, 2120. I have no idea where I am. I was at the campus library. It was late, and I was walking back to my car. And it was the only one in the lot. I hadn't realized it had gotten so late. I was out in the middle of the empty lot, near the sports field. They back up to the forest preserve, so there was probably no one around for miles. It was like something out of a movie. The lights in the sky, the weightlessness. I think I might have been abducted. I know it sounds nuts, but can't think of any other explanation. February 2, unknown, 2120. I don't know how long I've been here, but I think it's been a few days. They haven't hurt me, but they put me in some sort of machine. I think they scanned me or something, but I don't know. I don't know why, but they went through all my stuff. I hope they take me home soon. February 8th, 2120. I've been home for a few days. I told my mom I went for a girls' weekend with Katie and Becca, and we were out of range with cell towers. I told them that I was sick and had turned off my phone. I'm never going to tell anyone what happened. I'm done journaling now. I don't know if I'll ever take it back up. This is something I don't know if I'll ever want to think about or remember ever again. Jenny sat on her porch and thought for a minute about the poor woman who had written the entries. She must have had some sort of breakdown or mental illness. Jenny hoped that she had help that she needed. She noticed that there was more writing in the book and flipped to the next entry, which was a few pages further in. March 4th, 2129. I found this journal stuck in the rafters of a house I bought. It must have belonged to the daughter of the previous owners or something. I read it and it seemed pretty weird, but there was most of the journal here, so I'm going to use it. Who knows, maybe I'll leave it with the house when I sell it. Jenny read several pages of the journal entries spaced out a few months, mostly about home improvement projects, and some trial notes from hikes and new writer had taken. Then came another strange entry. May 23rd, 21:30. I don't think the girl from the start of the journal was suffering mental illness. I was out in the middle of the Big Span Preserve, taking the high water trail back from the washout. I had camped in the Lee A. Boulder and was enjoying the fire-cooked meal and the starlight when I was taken. I got scanned in the machine the girl mentioned on her entry. Hopefully they take me home in a few days. Everyone knew I was out camping, so as long as I get home within a few days, I can just claim that I was lost for a day or two and no one will suspect anything. She was right. No one would believe me. And it's not worth my career to try and make them. But if you're reading this, know that aliens are real. And they come for us. Jenny was a little shocked by the entry. She thought it was in poor taste to mock the mental issues of someone else. She decided to keep reading though. The remainder of the entries for the next few years were more home improvements and trail notes. There was an entry that said that the new journal was selling the house, and he was placing the journal back into the rafters. Then a new set of entries started. August 17th, 2144. So I just found this journal. My parents bought this place and they let me have this attic. This was jammed into eaves. I flipped through, seems pretty silly, but I thought I might give it a try. I'm totally gonna set this place up for my tintype processing. Vintage photos are sick. December 12th, 2144. I don't know what's going on. I think I was abducted. I was out in the woods by the lake span. There was a beer bust out there. I had too much to drink and went to take a leak. I got lost on my way back. And that's when I was nabbed. December 14th, 2144. I just read all the other entries in this journal and holy crap! The other two people in this journal were both abducted. That's some crazy business. I forgot I even had this thing in my bag until I was stuck here for days with nothing to do. I got scanned too, so if I hold this pattern I should be back home in a day or two. Thankfully, I told my folks I'd be out all weekend. Hopefully, everyone will just assume I crashed at somebody else's house. There are a few dozen pages of photography-related entries, and Jenny read this entry. June 14th, 2145. I think I figured out why everyone who writes in this journal gets snagged by the visitors. I was fixing a tear in the binding with some J glue, and I saw a small circuit embedded in the binding. I think there's some sort of tracker in the journal. So whoever is reading this, whatever you do, don't take it into the woods. Jenny was looking at the tear in the binding when the sky lit up. End of story. Story number 2, Sheer Luck, written by Conqueror Wiggles. Heavy feet and hooves trampled the local flora as a group tried to escape. There were 13 of them in total, mercenaries tasked with the most difficult jobs. As they reached the edge of what passed for a forest on this bizarre planet, the order came from the front to stop. For the first few moments, the only sound that could be heard was their heavy breathing. A cool breeze was beginning to blow into the forest from the empty field before them. A dull roar of complaints began to grow louder. So much for our lucky streak, one laughed. Once they caught their collective breath, the debate began. We can't keep up like this, one began. At this rate, they're gonna catch us before we reach the ship. At this, one of the group alphas stood up straighter. It's pretty clear what needs to happen, she coughed. Someone is going to have to stay behind, and that someone should be me. There was a general protest at this decision, but the loudest voice had been from the least formidable member of the group, the resident tech expert and good luck charm, a human named Ben. That ain't happening, Cat. There's always a way to— No! Car Traction interrupted. Not this time, little human. This time blood must be spilt. And who better than I? It was tough to argue with her. She was a behemoth even amongst her already formidable people. Her skin was almost an inch thick, making her resistant to most blasters. With her battle armor, she was like a walking tank. But it would only be enough for a short while against this many pursuers. Ben realized his voice wouldn't be listened to and began to look at his surroundings. "That's a nice breeze," he whispered absent-mindedly. "If I may," interjected Silva. "You aren't the only elf here. I happen to think that my own style may be more suited to the situation." Silva was a serpentine ambush predator. He was smaller than the Cartesian, but much quicker. He had reinforced his claws with a titanium alloy, and he could move silently to kill his opponents undetected. But not even he could evade this many opponents for long. As the two alphas butted heads, no one seemed to notice that the human had wandered off. When Ben made his way back to the group, almost everyone was yelling. The loudest voice belonged to Cartesian. "I don't care how quick you are, I could break you like a smoke." Cartesian looked away from the group for a moment. Everyone else did the same until Ben pointed at the forest and shouted, "Fire!" Ben's efforts had yielded a rapidly growing wildfire. The wind was pushing the blaze further into the forest towards their pursuers. "This is our chance!" the two alphas shouted in unison. The group began moving once more, now confident that they were safe. Once they reached their ship, the group had a moment to breathe once more. They began to revel in their good fortune. Everyone agreed that their string of good luck since Ben joined them was miraculous. Meanwhile, Ben wondered to himself how they'd ever gotten on without him. End of story. And that, my friends, concludes this video. I hope that you enjoyed, and if you do, please consider supporting the author, even by popping over and leaving a thumbs up or a nice comment, just to show your appreciation for the story. However, if you wish to support this channel, there are links down below which will help immensely. I will see you all in the next one, and until then, I hope that you have a fantastic day. Cheers.